We went down to Charleston, South Carolina. We stayed at the KOA Mount Pleasant Campground. We got there on Wednesday, October 12th, and left on Sunday, October 16th. This was right after the hurricane that come through on Saturday. You really couldn't tell that there were any damage at all from the hurricane at the campground itself. There's damage and flooding around in Charleston, but there at the campground, they did a great job getting everything cleaned up, and you didn't notice any damage at all.
Okay, it was very nice, and they kept the wash house where the bathrooms and everything were real clean, the showers, and we also got to go on a hayride. They had some activities planned for people who wanted to do it, and the little store there had just about anything you need. Plus, you were real close to shopping places and to the ocean, and downtown Charleston wasn't that far. It was just a really nice camping trip.
Overall, the campground, the only negative that I saw about the campground itself was the price, and that's basically any of the resort campgrounds. It's always pricey, so you know it's no different than anywhere else you go to a resort. It's pretty pricey, but overall, we enjoyed our stay, and would certainly recommend that campground. It was built on an old plantation. I think the oldest plantation in Charleston. I think is what the guy said, and it's been in this family since 1860. So they took us on the wagon ride. They took us over to the plantation, showed us around over there, and we saw, even got to see some wild turkeys on the plantation. So they had a great pond for fishing, or a lake. It's a small lake, large pond, but a lot of bass in there, a lot of big bass, and there's some huge carp in there, and there's a lot of different types of fish in there. I even heard that there's a resident alligator in there, which I didn't see, and really didn't want to see it. So
We sure didn't want to feed our dog to it.
no.
Honeybees.
There's actually honey dripping out of the knot. I got a drone and it flew up there the other day. And it wanted to sting it, but every time they tried to sting it, it blew them down. So the signal never went out. I was able to sit right there
Oh, that's cool.
and look into the minute. Pretty neat.
That's beautiful.
Oakland Plantation, you can look up, probably figure out where they came up with the name.
Beautiful, yeah. Oak trees.
These are live oak trees. They were planted here about 300 years ago for the avenue up to the plantation house there.
I remember that.
What's that?
I remember when that happened.
Do you?
Yeah.
The house is beautiful.
People are still living in the house?
No. It's a big family that owns the place. Actually, the KOA is part of the plantation, and so is the Walmart shopping center up there and all those stores. They have them in a lease. That's got to be a nice monthly check.
Yeah.
Like a 65-year lease. But what they do is it's a big family. They have businesses all over the place, and so they just, rather than fighting over this, made it into their office. So everything is historically preserved inside. There's just a computer here, a fax machine here. And there is one family member, one of the younger members, that stays in an addition on the side, just to kind of keep an eye on this place.
I saw some guy today talk to me. He said his mom and dad owned the place. So
Really?
Yeah,
No,
it
it
was.
must have been Shay.
That's who it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my good buddy. Went to high school with him. They've owned this plantation since 1859. But anyway, that's one of the oldest plantation houses in the area because General Sherman was coming through and burning everything else. So the folks that were here at the time left town, and the slaves that were here on the plantation moved into the house. And when he got here, somehow they were able to talk Sherman's wife into talking him into not burning this one. So all the other ones you see around, like King Hall and all the other big fancy plantations, those are all 100 years newer as far as the houses than this one. You can see before all the shenanigans, everything was a little bit more modest now. I mean, if you look at Boone Hall, it's got huge presidential columns and gardens and all this. You know, I think when everybody got back, they were just wanted to see who could build the biggest, fanciest plantation. Anyway, if you look over here, you'll see some tombstones.
Yeah.
That's the old slave graveyard. What you're looking at there is probably less than half of what's actually in it. Because their religion dictated, which was Goa, I believe, that whatever they ate out of last, or personal stuff, bottles, jewelry, plates, cups, shells, marked their grave when they died. And all of that stuff is obviously long gone. But the tombstones you see, the slaves who were freed and then came back and were working the plantation as employees. And when they died, wanted to be with the rest of the family. And at this point, I assumed they had converted to Christianity because they put up a tombstone. This is the big house, as the family calls it, and say it was built in the 1700s, so it was
1700.
War and Civil War. Our buddy, you were talking about earlier today, told me a story about the family that lived here at the time, and what they used to do when they would build these houses is they would align the front door and the back door so when they opened them it would create a breezeway in the house and keep it cool. And the family was sitting down at dinner one evening. They had a roasted bird or fowl of some sort on the table, and a British soldier rode his horse up the back steps into the house, stuck the bird on the end of his sword, and then went out the front door with it like it was a drive-through at McDonald's.
Wow.
Whether or not it's true, I don't know. He says it is. I gotta take him at his word, but it does make a good story, I think. I can't see a man on a horse fitting through the door, to be honest with you.
It's a small door. Or a small horse.
But who knows? This structure here.
Yeah, that's not the same door that was on the house then.
Oh no. Most of it is.
That door frame was different, probably.
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't know, because if you look at the glass, all the glass is original too. It's wavy. It's hand blown from
Wow,
England.
yeah.
And how it survived 300 years worth of hurricanes must be some tough stuff, but it did.
House is still beautiful.
But this structure over here, or everything to the right of the white gutter in the middle, is the original structure. That was the cookhouse. The reason that the kitchen and the main house were separated was so in case the kitchen caught on fire, the main house wouldn't burn. The fire department to speak of that could make it here in time and do anything about it. The brick structure behind the tree over there, that was the dairy house to keep things cool. And this one here is a smokehouse where they would dry meat, smoke meat. You can see there's a window on the side for ventilation there. And I'm sure there used to be a chimney on it as well. But and if you look over in the corner, it's kind of hard to see with the sun in your eyes. But behind that magnolia, there's a brick pillar. See that? Follow it to the end of the fence.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I see it barely. I see the side of it.
Yeah. That's the entrance to the proprietor's graveyard. And the Gregory's have owned it since 1859. That means there's like 200 years worth of the family over there in the corner. Is a lot of history. I think, and they still use it. The latest family member would have been Shay's grandmother, and she used to live here. She went in 2013. What else? Anybody know how they got the name? Well, just like any plantation in the South, the kitchen and the main house were separated. So when the cooks would prepare a meal, they would take their leftover dough and fry it into balls. And then when they were taking the meal from the kitchen to the house, they'd be throwing them out to the dogs to keep them off the meal. That's where they came up with the name Hush Puppies. And you got to remember though that they didn't have kibbles and bits or anything like that back then. So when food came out, they were on it.
Yeah.
That's how it got the
Good
name.
idea.